Retroazul presents How to Dress Like the Perfect Salesman. Today we will discover how this gentleman from Italy will dress up for his work. So what are you reading that is so interesting? Dracula? Okay, that's a bold and nice choice. Bela Lugosi was an ace on his movie about Dracula. Well, you're not going to get ready for work? Yes, it's getting late. It's time to get ready for work, my gentleman. Now is in the process of thinking of what he's going to wear for his work as a salesman. So, looking at this gentleman's closet, he has a lot of choices. In the year of 1957, men could spend more money on clothing and follow the latest fashion trends. So for business, I would suggest a gray suit. Instead, you can wear maybe a blue or a brown suit. And then for a fedora, which one will he choose? He chose the brown fedora. It goes really well with the gray suit. It's time to get ready for work for this gentleman. And voila, this is the latest look that is in trend for this year, 1957. A great business suit, with a brown fedora, the suitcase that is essential for his work, and a coat because it's getting cold out there. We are almost in winter. So you are ready for your work as a salesman. Yes, the other way. What's up guys, welcome back to my channel where I talk about men's fashion and vintage fashion. So we're finally here. It has been a very long time before being here in the studio, guys. I am so happy, and finally we are going into the series that I stopped I think some months ago around August, if you remember, a little flashback. Because the best fits are in the fall and winter for these historical outfits that I want to do. So actually this will be the last episode right now for the moment. I will be back, I think probably in September or October when the temperatures can go down, because honestly I am already sweating just wearing this hat. Exactly. So now is the right time to get back into the history of men's fashion. Now the temperatures are great. It's fall, I can wear whatever I want. It's almost winter, so great for me, great for y'all. And we're going to continue this series about the history of men's fashion. And today, in this episode of History of Men's Fashion, after the bold 1940s, we're going to dive into a decade that was impacted from the birth of rock and roll, from TV, from the economic boom, from the baby boom, from the atomic science like research, and the end of the World War II. And we're going to dive into the 1950s men's fashion.
Do a sad song for you.
Create a lovely setting that enhance the pleasure of entertaining.
In today's episode of History of Men's Fashion, we're going to dive into a decade that was impacted from the atomic age of science and technology, the economic boom, rock and roll, the Cold War, the Korean War, and the advent of television. Also called the fabulous years, today we're going to talk about the 1950s. So this decade was marked from the aftermath of the Second World War, when the economy had a lot of boost. That was called the economic boom. That was at the same time as the baby boom that happened after the men in the military went back home after the war. So, with an estimate of 4 million babies that were born every year during each year of the 1950s, like, damn, that's a lot of diapers that need to be changed ASAP. In the US, let me clarify, but it was another world trend. Middle class people had more income to spend than ever before, and the suburbs were created. The Cold War was caused by the tension between US and the Soviet Union, and then the US Army was sent to the Korean War during the early 1950s. The television became an household staple, and rock and roll will emerge as a genre that will define the 50s and embraced especially by the teen demographic at the time. Men's fashion reflected that, and also there was the start of teen fashion, because youth started to want to dress differently from their parents and adults. Casual and practical clothing are more used after the Second World War. The three-piece suit was still worn to an extent because the casual wear became more common to wear. In business wear, colors were restricted in the early 50s after the bold late 40s style. Gray was the main color for business, with occasional brown and blue. Pastel colors and bright colors were embraced in casual wear, sportswear, and by the youth. Suits were mostly conservative, and the double-breasted suits were still worn in this decade, but the single-breasted suits became more popular. The new silhouette in the 50s was more natural, with the removal of the shoulder pads, pants had no pleats, and textured fabrics are favored like tweed, pied, corduroy, and more. Since men could spend more money on clothing, that means that they could keep up with the fashion trends and also have more clothing. Clothing became more washable, and casual wear was very common to wear outside of work, with polos and button-down shirts making their big entrance in the wardrobe of every 1950s man. The also called Mr. T look was on the rage, with straight and a more natural silhouette of the suit at the time. In the late 50s, more bright colors came into the picture, like light blue, cream, tan, and silver gray, more precisely during the odd season. The continental look took stage in the late 50s, inspired from Italian suiting after the war. Sports coats are paired with different pants, and colors like burgundy, teal blue, and emerald green weren't uncommon. Tailored Bermuda shorts are starting to be seen during summer, and lighter materials are used in this season. Pants were preferred with a sharp crease in the middle and hemmed at the bottom. Tiny belts and waistbands were used for a better fit. Denim jeans are worn from the youth at the time and the fabric of choice for casual wear. A notable change in the fashion industry at the time is the rise of ready-to-wear clothing that the middle class could now afford and have access to more styles than before. Shirts in this decade featured bold patterns and loud colors. Dress shirts were conservative like the suits, and they are wide and baggy. The ties became longer and slimmer compared to the wide and short ties from the 1940s, and traditional stripes and designs took the place of the bold and extravagant patterns of the 40s. Casual dress shirts had more colors, lighter fabrics, and more comfort, and short-sleeved shirts were introduced around the middle of the 1950s. Ivy look and Italian tailoring were the main styles for shirts. Flannel and plaid shirts were popular in fall and winter. Banded bottom shirts, shirts with a neat band along the bottom, and gaucho shirts, shirts with a collar with a loop or zipper became more common. In the 1950s, men's fashion was influenced from Hollywood, TV, and advertising. Magazines were crucial for the consumerism and latest trends. Knit shirts were trendy in the early 1950s, and the white shirt that was originally part of the underwear was popularized in the casual wear scene in the early 50s. Thanks to stars like James Dean, Marlon Brando, and Elvis Presley, the white tee became more common to wear casually with denim cuffed jeans and leather jacket among teens. Also became a symbol of rebellion. So the dress code at the time for cocktail parties was semi-formal or smart casual. Western attire and Hawaiian shirts were pretty popular during this decade. A lot of shirts were worn during summer. Cardigans were worn especially by teens, and being the part of the preppy style or Ivy League. Cardigans with an embroidered letter on the top were used especially amongst athletes. And also, if the workplace was okay with it, cardigans were used on a casual Friday at the office. Outerwear became more fashionable. Overcoats, topcoats, and raincoats were great options. Short overcoats and duffel coats were also worn. Leather or a sweat jacket was worn especially when traveling with motorcycles or sport cars without the top part. Hats were still pretty much worn, especially at work, but were starting to fade because younger people were taking more care of their hairstyles. Fedora is still the undefeated king. Damn, the fedora doesn't want to go down. I think it has another decade and then it will start to flop, but the fedora is still the king. Other hats were worn, like the Hamburg, the cowboy hat, and more. So in menswear, teens started to dress differently from the adults, with the rise of subcultures like the teddy boys and greasers. But most teens at the time were still dressing like the adults at this time. Teddy boys were a subculture that started in 1952, inspired from the Edwardian look suit made in London's Savile Row, while greasers started in the late 1940s after the Second World War, in the motorcycle and street gangs becoming more widespread in the 1950s. I did already a video about the greasers, but I'm going to do one about the Teddy boys in the future. Shoes that were popular in the 1950s are saddle shoes, two-tone Oxfords, penny loafers, loose sweat shoes, creepers, chukka boots, engineer boots, and more. Rock and roll became very popular in the 1950s, influenced men's fashion with greased hair, leather jackets, and jeans becoming a staple. Stars like Rock Hudson, Gregory Peck, Gary Grant, and more became fashion icons at the time. After diving into the history of men's fashion, the society and the culture and the music around that time, we're going to dive into my inspired 1950s outfits. So before diving into my inspired outfits, do I have a soft spot for this decade? Well, I must say, like, I can't deny it, but I don't know how to tell ya, like, yeah, sure. Yes, I love the 1950s fashion so much. Actually, it's one of my major inspirations for my style. So if I have to describe my style, it's like a mix of 1980s, early 1990s, I will say, and then 1950s mixed together to put together my outfits. So I really like this decade a lot, but I also love the other decades of men's fashion, don't get me wrong, but for the 1950s I have a soft spot in my heart here, and honestly I can't even tell why. Probably I think because of the different range of styles. Maybe I like a lot of the shoes around that time, like the saddle shoes, the two-tone Oxfords. I really like the greaser style. Also the teddy boy style is really great. And I love the cardigans, I love the ties, I love the preppy style at that time. Like also the rock and roll superstar look that Elvis Presley, Chuck Berry, Jerry Lee Lewis, Eddie Cochran, Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, and many more musicians were styling at that time with the suits and the button-down shirts. Those are so lit, like chef's kiss to me. So I really love 1950s men's fashion. And to me, three icons that you should follow for the 1950s style, in my opinion, like at least one of those three or four that I will mention now are Elvis Presley, Rock Hudson, James Dean, and fourth, I was thinking about a fourth person because last time I forgot about Robert Mitchum for the 1940s. If you didn't watch that video, I will leave it somewhere here or down below about the 1940s men's fashion. I have a tie between these three people. Chuck Berry, Dean Martin, and Tony Curtis. One of those three will get the first spot, but at the moment I don't know which one. So let me know in the comments which one should get the first spot. But yeah, other than that, I really love the 1950s men's fashion. I watched some 1950s movies, yes. And the one that I really liked is Singing in the Rain. The musical is really nice. I love the costumes and the color, and the cinematography in that movie is perfect. Yeah, I have to watch more 1950s movies in the future because I want to watch more old movies. This is one of my goals of mine. So now I will show you my 1950s looks that were inspired from the business world, the rock and roll, the preppy style, and also the casual, more like sportswear style at that time. I added like also a fifth one was the greaser one, but I already did it in the video about the greasers, so I didn't want to repeat also this look. So I have four 1950s looks for y'all, and let's dive into it. So for this first 1950s look, I was inspired from the business wear and office wear of that time. So I'm wearing my brown H&M fedora that I took some years ago with my thrifted tie, my thrifted white button-up shirt, with my gray suit that is from the brand Indy Tasmania. It's thrifted. I thrifted it in Ancona, if I remember correct. No, actually my dad gave this suit to me and he thrifted it in Ancona. And also I'm pairing it with a long wool overcoat, and I'm wearing my brown dress shoes and the suitcase to finish the look, to give that businessman salesman attire of the 1950s. And yes, I think this outfit is perfect, and yes, it's snatched, it's late. I don't know what else to say, and yes. Oh yes, the socks, before I forget. That's another important detail. I chose this wine burgundy color, and yes, that's it. So for this second look, I was inspired from the casual wear of the 1950s, as since short sleeve shirts were introduced in this time. I wanted to do a look around that, and I called it casual mid-century, because casual for casual wear, and mid-century because we are in the middle of the century at this time, like literally. So I'm wearing this thrifted button-down shirt that has this pattern that is inspired from the mid-century, and I took it for €2 at the flea market in Bologna, I think 2 months ago, and I like this vibrant like blue color. And I'm wearing also my thrifted striped high-waisted pants that I took in Germany last year, and then I'm wearing my loafers as usual, my Rockport brown loafers, because they go well with the look. I'm using a tiny belt for these pants. For this third look, it's time to get preppy, get back to school, to the college times, and yes, this is the Ivy League look that I came up with. So I'm wearing my thrifted cardigan that actually my dad gave to me. It has this A letter embroidered on top. This cardigan is from the brand SOS, and I'm wearing also my thrifted brown tie with my white button-down shirt and my gray high-waisted pants and the brown shoes to finish the look. I am shocked that this is very accurate to what they were wearing, so I'm happy with the result, very happy, and I like the pairing of the colors, and this outfit slaps, like 10 out of 10 in my opinion. And now for my last look, I am a rock and roll superstar, like literally a rock and roll star with this outfit. And I'm wearing my pink button down shirt that is thrifted. It has this 50s like design embroidered on the back that you can't see because it's under the suit. And I'm wearing this blazer that is from the brand Greenlight. It's a checkered black and white blazer, and I think it's very 50s inspired in my opinion. And also I'm wearing my gray high-waisted pants as usual with the belt, and I'm wearing my two-tone Oxford shoes that has this cream beige color that are so cool with green laces. And I think this is very like Elvis, Chuck Berry inspired. I love the pairing of the button-down shirt with the blazer. Like, it's very casual, but it's also very charismatic. I love this look to the T. It's like, wow, I would wear it again. So guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you will know when I put my next video. And I'm so happy to be back, and finally this series can go on. Next episode that will be around the 1960s will come out next month. And other than that, yes, I am back The Halloween season was a lot of work. Let me tell you, a lot of work. Although I was like not on time this time because of my recent trip to North Europe, but I had a lot of fun making these Halloween videos, and I can't wait for next year. That will be another banger. Like, I can't wait. And yes, other than that, yes, Christmas is next around the corner. Or I have other videos ideas. And let me know in the comments any new video ideas that you want me to prepare. And yes, that's it. I will see y'all very, very soon on the next video, my fellas. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. No. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Okay. 1, 2, 3.